Morning. It is August 31st, 2018. My name is Bill McCamley. I'm a state representative from Las Cruces and Mesilla with your legislative update for the day. So I am here in beautiful Chama, New Mexico. We're actually at a middle school. There's the last of a meeting going on right now. Yes, I am sitting on a swing. But the reason I wanted to come outside and do this video is one of the things that we're talking about today is the possibility of establishing an Office of Outdoor Recreation in New Mexico. Many other Western United States have done this, and when you look at New Mexico and the opportunities that we have for people to come in and mountain bike, climb, hunt, fish, ski, etc. and so on, there's a lot of folks that say we need to be putting extra resources into promoting our state in these areas because other states are doing better than we are, whereas we actually have a longer season for people to be available for most of these things, and we have more opportunity. And so there's a proposal going on right now to say for a new governor, will you create a new bureau either under the Department of Economic Development or Department of Tourism, whose sole job it is to really work with communities in promoting outdoor recreation. And this is true from places like Gallup to Red River to Las Cruces, where the Organ Mountains Desert Peaks National Monument has actually gotten a lot of publicity nationwide, and you've seen more tourism business increase because of that and help out businesses in the local area. The other thing we're talking about today is the Mesilla Bosque Park. For those of you that live in Las Cruces and Mesilla, like I do, this was created about 10 years ago. The governor has decided that she wanted to take money that was set aside for the state park and give it to a completely different department, have that department stop their offices in town and move to the state park and stop having the place be a state park. Now, this may seem esoteric, and the governor argues that it saves money, and it probably will, but there's a bigger problem in terms of governmental separation of powers. The legislature is supposed to be responsible for setting the state budget every year, and if a governor is allowed to unilaterally move money from one department to another, that really takes a lot of power away from the legislature. And so the legislature is actually suing the governor on this. And we've gotten an update from our legislature here on the specifics of that. I can't talk about it because it's closed session, but the Albuquerque Journal did report that the governor is going to wait to finish that thing until the lawsuit goes through, and it hasn't really been scheduled yet. So there's that. Yesterday I was actually in Taos for a meeting of the Science and Technology Committee. We talked about what Kit Carson Electric Co-op is doing. For those of you that don't know, Kit Carson is the electric provider in northern New Mexico, and they have made a commitment to be 100% solar power by the middle of the next decade. I think it's 2024 or 2025, and they're moving on it. They have cut ties with their mainly coal-producing partner for most of the other co-ops in the state called Tri-State Energy. They've done new agreements with people that are coming in to do new solar, and we specifically focused yesterday on why broadband access is needed for both individual houses and businesses, and also for their bigger components of their solar system for smart grid technologies, and how that's really got to be a part of a system moving forward if other places want to do this. It was really fascinating. We also heard from the supercomputing challenge at in New Mexico. This is one of about 12 different science programs that go on throughout the state, and they were asking for $100,000 to help with their programs, which is great, and I support it. The question is, do we spend money on individual programs? Because there's all over the place programs. It's Science Bowl, Science Olympiad, supercomputing, there's math competitions, there's 2 or 3 robotics competitions. Or do we say we want to create a coach at every middle and high school for the state that's the equivalent of like a football or baseball coach? You know, that's really interesting because we fund those programs, and every school has an athletics department with coaches, which is awesome. I mean, I played tennis and hockey in high school, and it was great. But for every person who's in a high school athletics department or athletics program, they've got to realize that 0.1%, not 1%, 0.1% of high school athletes play some kind of pro ball when they get out. Whereas if you look at the sciences, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, I think there's about 2 jobs open for every person that we currently have with that education. So there's a lot more jobs opening for them. I think we should consider that as well. The last thing I want to say is I know John McCain passed away recently, and his last words were that we should try to be above party sometimes. So let me say this about Larry Larranaga. It was just announced that he won't be running for re-election. He's an Albuquerque Republican. He's been on the budget committee for a long time. I don't agree with him, obviously, very much. I'm a Democrat, he's a Republican, but he approached his job with a lot of class, a lot of intelligence. He put a lot of bills together and moving forward that weren't very partisan, and he did a ton of work every year, both in the majority and the minority, putting a state budget together that a lot of us on both sides of the aisle really respect. And I think that if you see him, you should please tell him congratulations on a career in public service that is really well done. So thanks everybody for watching this. As always, if you have questions, concerns, or any other issue, I'd love to hear from you, and I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend and a great Labor Day. Bye.